One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when searching for a six-figure remote job is they limit themselves to job boards when it comes to that search. And I'm here to tell you that's not the way to go. And I'm going to pull from my 15 years of working from home for multiple organizations and, oh, yes, in a recruiting capacity, to share some insight on kind of best practices for your job search. Some of it's going to require some effort, yes, but stick around. If this is the type of content you like to see, then certainly hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's get into today's video. All right, I know a lot of you can't stand Indeed. It is not the worst, but Indeed, like so many other sites, they're aggregators, right? So they are going out and collecting all of the opportunities that are posted on this World Wide Web, and they're dumping them in a space for you to then sift through them. So some of it is trash, yes. But I've actually some years ago landed a fantastic opportunity from Indeed for a reputable company. So it's not all bad. It just requires your discernment, your research, right? One thing I will tell you, someone shared an opportunity with me, and they're like, "Oh, Christina, I stumbled across this. You may want to send it to your community." If you don't know, every week I send a list of 10 high paying remote opportunities to my email community. I will drop that link in the description below. But they sent it to me, and I know they meant well. Um, and it wasn't like I asked. I actually prefer to like do that search independently. But they sent it to me, and I'm like, immediate no, because a simple Google search, which is something I do for each of these companies, will tell me that like I don't see this company anywhere. So they're saying they're hiring for these remote opportunities, that pay exceptionally well, that don't require experience, yada, yada, yada. And I Google and I can't find the company. For me, that's a hard no, doesn't make the cut. But I'm saying that to say that some of these job boards you're leveraging aren't really legit. Some of them are doing their best to provide a space where you can find these opportunities, but they're not doing any additional legwork. So you don't know if the company they pull that opportunity from is even legit, right? So that's one thing. Relying on job boards solely without discernment, without research, probably not in your best interest. All right, and on to the one that I know many of you have gotten rid of. You complain about it. I see your posts on the internet. You can't stand LinkedIn for various reasons, right? And you are entitled to feel how you feel about these specific platforms. But I'll tell you this, LinkedIn is a great tool. They have put some guardrails in place. So they're not an aggregator. You have to actually follow certain instructions and meet certain requirements in order to post a job on LinkedIn. What I will say about it as well, and let me just say on LinkedIn in terms of a careers page post, right? So you can post whatever you want on your personal page within reason. I shouldn't say that. And LinkedIn isn't going to necessarily verify that whatever you post on your personal page is legit. But we're talking about a company, an organization posting an opportunity. They actually have to have a certain subscription for that. And it's not free. Now you can get a free trial for a period of time. It's not free. And they're doing their best, I think, as I think about all the job boards, they're doing their best. There are a couple of others. They want to create a safe space for job seekers and professionals, right, to land their ideal opportunities. It is not without fault. There are issues with it. And yes, again, your discernment is going to be important. But in addition to all that I've said already, what I think people are missing is that you can create job alerts on LinkedIn. The thing that's important about it is you want the daily notifications. I've told my clients this, and I'll share this with you as well. Once the job is posted, you're already behind. So you want to be one of the first people to find out about an opportunity when it is posted, ideally before it is posted. And we can get into that in a second. It requires some legwork, but as someone who has been in this space for a very long time, hiring and landing my own opportunities, I'm sharing with you from a place of experience and also expertise in the talent acquisition space. So you want to find out about these postings immediately. So daily notifications are important. I think something that folks also miss is creating a list of organizations that you'd like to work for. This is an overlooked strategy. Um, Overlooked in part because I think it just requires more effort than some are willing to put forth. Not just effort in terms of time, but there's a thought process that goes into it. There's a strategy, right, that goes into this. And so um, every year I publish a list of employers who are hiring remote employees. Every year. Comes out by the end of the first quarter. And so I will drop the link for the most recent one based on the timing of this video in the description below. Feel free to grab it. Look at that list. And every week, I send an email to my community with 10 new high paying remote opportunities. Look at that list. What companies are hiring in your desired industry? So, to figure that out, you got to figure out what you want to do, right? And that's another conversation we can have during a clarity session, but you have to know what it is that you desire to do. And maybe even a general idea of where you desire to do it. So is it in a hospital setting? Is it in ed tech? Like, where's your desired, right? Your desired next step going to land you? Look at the list. Look at the list of 100. Look at the list that comes out every week. Start extracting a couple of employers you'd like to work with for various reasons, right? Maybe because they clearly hire for the roles that you're interested in. In addition to that, maybe if you look at the mission, the vision, the values, it's an organization that aligns and you're like, yeah, like if I had a choice, I'd work here. Now, they may not have anything available today, but if it was up to me, I'd land an opportunity there next. And so here's where more of the legwork comes in. And this is where people get stuck. But I assure you that if you start exercising this muscle of additional research, you will begin to see results, right? Connections with these organizations that you desire to work for. You may start getting some informational interviews. I've had clients line those up back to back. They are super meaningful. Don't overlook this. And I'm going to pause here for a second because I want to give you a moment to grab a notebook. This is good. Grab the notebook. I'll wait. So now that you have this notebook, maybe you want a page, maybe you want a column. You know what? Maybe even you decide, Christina, I am not killing trees. I just want to open this document and create a Google sheet or whatever your choice is. I want you to list the organization that you want to work for. Okay. I want you to then go to that employer's website, go to their careers page or their jobs page. If you don't know what it is as simple as a Google search: employer's name and careers. Enter. Then I want you to see if they have a talent community that you can join. And so let me say this about talent communities. So I've done full cycle recruitment, whereas I'm sourcing for candidates and I'm taking them through offer and even beyond that, onboarding. I will say that one of the places we've looked, and it depends on the market, it depends on the industry, it depends on the employer, it depends on the role. But one of the top places we look when it comes to finding candidates before a job is posted, saying before, because before the job is posted, we have these intake meetings and we like to come to these meetings prepared. We like to know, okay, what does the talent pool look like? We like to know, do we have anyone in our existing talent pool who matches this criteria, right? We like to know who's interested in joining the organization. Sometimes, right, if we don't have an in-house talent pool, keep in mind I've worked for multiple organizations. If we don't have an in-house talent pool, then maybe we look to LinkedIn next, right? And we do a search, and I'll talk to you about that a little bit more here in a second. But we'd like to come to that meeting prepared with some names, some profiles to consider, some resumes, right? When there's an opportunity for you to join the talent community at an organization and it's a place where you want to work, certainly, please do that. Please do that. If there's an option to set up job alerts, remember I said you want to be one of the first people to know about an opportunity, ideally before it's posted, but as soon as it's posted. LinkedIn will give you the space to get that daily notification, but you want it sooner rather than later. So set up job alerts for these companies on the company's website. That's something that people listen. I'm giving y'all all the insight. That's something folks don't think about enough, right? So I want you to set up the job alert. If the community, I should slid it. I want you to set up the job alert. Like the way that came out was awkward. I want you to set up the job alert. If the community is available for you to join, then join that. Here's the other thing I'll share that people don't often think about is go to that company's LinkedIn page, follow the company, right? And some companies, and I stress some because it's an option, right? Not every organization will turn this feature on for various reasons. If it's an option, I want you to look at their insights page. It might be on their about page. It might be on their careers page or jobs page. See if there's an option for you to express interest in the company, right? There's a button. It'll say, I'm interested. If that is an option, please click that button. Please click that button. And here's why. I talked about kind of the back end of LinkedIn from a recruitment careers perspective, right? And so there are things that we can turn on. One thing when we are searching, if you have selected I'm interested, if it exists on the company's LinkedIn page, you will be closer to the top of the list, right? When we start sourcing, as we call it, for potential candidates for opportunities, so that when I go to the intake meeting, I've got a few. Ideally, the person at the top of the list or closer to the top of the list with relevant skills and experience is someone whose profile I'm going to print. I'm going to send to the hiring team for review, right? Expressing I'm interested, here's what it does, really and truly. So one thing people don't know is if you receive a message, and this is an established company, let's say, if you receive a message from a recruiter, and it's one of those in mails, and we're telling you about an opportunity that we think you may be a good fit for, that takes away from our in-mail credits. Okay, so you have certain credits you can use if you have premium. You may run into that. That takes away from our credits, and those credits cost money. And recruitment costs money, right? Like we want to make sure we are spending money in the right place. We want to make sure the credits we use will return an actual candidate who's interested in the opportunity. It took me a second to get all that together, but we want to make sure that's the case. And so it's better if we do that with someone who said, I'm interested. The other thing, and I'm not going to go all into setting up your LinkedIn profile, but if you haven't done that, I'll drop a resource below for that. I'm full of resources, y'all. If you and I never get on a call and talk about your specific situation, I have taken so much out of this head and dumped it into a resource for you, for your 6-figure remote job search. But make sure your LinkedIn profile is set up. I'll say that. Um, Skills, all that good stuff. Make sure you have something of substance there for us to even look at and consider. Okay, so you are going to select I'm interested. The other thing I want you to do um, is look at the people tab on that company profile and see if you can find individuals who are sourcers, who are in talent acquisition. So these are titles you might want to look at. Talent acquisition, sourcing, recruiting are all pretty much the same thing. Start looking at those profiles, and I want you to start sending some connection requests. If you need the language for that, I'll drop a resource below for that as well. I have an entire playbook dedicated to networking, not just on LinkedIn, but that's certainly part of it where I provide scripts. I want you to win in this space. And so when you start reaching out to recruiters, getting your name in front of them, no, every recruiter is not going to accept your connection request, especially if you do not have a note or a message, especially. And there are some who are like, Christina, I don't care if they have a note. I hope you get that one. I hope you get that one. But I think providing some context, right? Some professional context makes a difference. Again, you understand just how tough the job market is right now. And so bring your A game, bring your solid strategy, right? Increase the likelihood of you receiving a response from that recruiter, of you getting a message that says, yeah, I'm more than happy to jump on a call for a few minutes. Hello, somebody. Do we see how the strategy is playing out here? Hello, somebody. Like, I'm excited talking about it because I know this works. And I know many of you will not do it because it is going to require some effort. It is going to require that notebook, that spreadsheet, whatever it is. It is going to require that outreach. It is going to require you getting comfortable with the word no or being ignored, but knowing that you have done all that you can. Simply applying for a job is not you doing all that you can, especially in the 6-figure remote job space. And I want you to win. So I hope this is all coming together for you. I'm excited. Like, my heart is literally going as I'm talking about it because I love this work. And again, I'm here to share. All right, y'all. I got to catch my breath. When I tell you I get excited about this stuff, I get excited about the work I do with clients. I get excited about just the work I do in the recruiting space. And I want that to translate in this video. So I hope it resonates. I hope someone has had the, oh, I didn't think about that moment. If that's the case, be sure, if you haven't done so already, to hit that subscribe button. I can't stress that enough. Turn on notifications. Follow, depending on the channel you are on. Make sure you like this video, right? And share it with a friend. Sharing is caring. When I send that list of 10 high-paying remote jobs every single week, it is because I care, right? I genuinely care, and I want individuals to know, I want job seekers to know, I want professionals to know that these opportunities exist. Take this strategy I'm sharing, implement it. If you need support, if you're like, Christina, I can't get started, or if you're like, Christina, this feels like a lot of work, I'm going to need some support, I am here. I am here. All of that said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.